Good afternoon, people. Just a quick introduction. I've been out to Smalley Cross again, and I've taken a couple of bikes out. This time I've taken the 450 Himalayan again, because I've taken it out before. But before I did that, I went out on the Guerrilla 450. I know Nick took it out when I took out the CF Moto a few weeks ago. He wasn't too impressed with the size of it, but then he's taller than I am now, so I could see that. So I was a little bit surprised. I was pleasantly surprised with just how enjoyable this thing was to ride. Yes, I can't get my knees into the tank because of my 34 inside leg, but what a great little bike. Not my choice for a distance bike, but certainly for a run around the lanes. Beautiful little bike. Great to ride. Handles well. Goes well. Yeah, so the only thing is the audio isn't very good. I'm apologising for that, because this camera, it seems to revert to its own settings occasionally, and unless I actually check the settings before every trip, I can't guarantee it's going to be good, and that's what's happened this time. But I think it's usable, and I hope it's followable. But so yes, this one is a record of my ride on the Guerrilla and a little bit of a description of the bike. So see what you think, and let me know. All right, the usual way. And I'll see you in the next one, which should be my second ride on the Himalayan. But yeah, I'll check what the video's like beforehand. Okay. Right. See you next time. Cheers. Well, good morning, everybody. We're just approaching Smalley Cross again. The guys here have been kind enough to let me try another couple of bikes. And it's going to be the Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450 and revisiting the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I know I took the Himalayan 450 out a few months ago when it first came out, but I didn't give it a decent ride, to be honest. So I'll tell you more about it when we're on board. But either way, we're here, Smalley Cross, and a great bunch of lads they are too. So with no more ado, we'll go inside and say hello, and I'll see you in a bit. Now then, having got the complication of the lights out of the way, and we got on the what's become my normal test route now, I suppose you could say. On this Guerrilla, I can tell straight away that it's got so much more poke than the 411. Well, it's got 40 brake horsepower. 40 brake horsepower, about 29, I think it is, foot-pounds of torque, which is quite considerable for a little engine like this. I can tell it's, yeah, I'm not quite the 6'3" I used to be, admittedly, but I've still got a 34-inch inside leg, and my knees just don't fit in the sculpted tank the way I would like them to. It is a small bike. I know I've got off a Himalayan, I should say, which is quite a high seating position. But it does feel, for me, this does feel a small bike, but it's a nice bike to ride. This hasn't got the upside down forks that the Himalayan has, but they're decent units. They're shower units, 43mm forks, and it's a shower rear unit as well, so it's fairly well equipped. The tyres that are fitted as standard are a Seat, quite chunky, the same tyres as it turns out as are fitted to the Himalayan 450. These are 160s at the rear, 17-inch front and rear, single disc front and rear. Suspension's quite firm. But as with most modern bikes, it's compliant, as you'd say. 6-speed box. As far as the gearing is concerned, the difference between the Himalayan and the Guerrilla is that the Guerrilla's got a 160 section rear tyre on it as against the 140 on the Himalayan. It is a nice bike to ride, it really is. I've been watching with interest and listening with interest to the comments of Gary of Economical Rides in Spain and Ian Hughes across here, and I can see why they like the bike. And we're going to get onto the A38 for just one junction. It's as near as damn it motorway work as this, being the dual carriageway that it is. I would imagine that the audio is going to break up a little bit. But suffice to say, it certainly picks its wheels up. So yes, it can certainly hold its own at motorway speeds, and it will hold them for quite some distance. Although with a naked bike the way it is, high speeds are not that comfortable. It's a personal thing, but it's the reason I ride the Himalayan is because of the high handlebars, the high seating position for my comfort, and it's the same. It's the same with this Guerrilla really. I would need, I would put bar risers on, I think, to make it more comfortable. But it is certainly is a nice bike to ride. Very, very responsive for a little 450. So that brings us off the A38.
So the 610 takes us down to the A6, and a lot of the distance down the 610 is boring, traffic lights and junctions and stuff. So I'll bring you back when we get down to the main A6 for a little bit of A-road experience, and do a little bit of a walk around as well. And we're back onto the A6 now. A little bit of A-road work. It's a 50 mile an hour limit up here, but it's run-of-the-mill sort of stuff. The gearbox is, as you come to expect from a Royal Enfield gearboxes these days, it's nice and slick. I don't think it's quite as slick as the Bear I took out, but it's a nice slick gearbox. The seat's firm, but it's comfortable. It is comfortable. It's nicely sculpted. And the one thing I've failed to find is this reputed vibration at around about 60-65 miles an hour. Couldn't find it. So that makes it, for me, definitely a more acceptable bike. If I had the wherewithal and the garage big enough, I would keep one of these in the garage for use on for short runs out, shall we say. Right, I'll get a cup of coffee and we'll have a walk round. The side stand's easy to find, and I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Here we are, the 450 Guerrilla, and it's a nice bike. Like I said, it's got a 160 section rear tyre on it, quite a chunky Seat tyre. Double overhead camshaft engine, 450, about 40 brake horsepower, although it says 39.5 on the bump I've read, but it doesn't make any sense to me, that doesn't. Conventional forks, beefy single disc front brake, (17-inch) wheels front and rear, and it's got the nice touches. This are combined rear lights and indicators at the back. I quite like the bike. Yes, it is a small bike, but that's compared with the Himalayan, of course. I think both forks at the front and the rear unit a shower, so that is well equipped, certainly well equipped, and it really is a nice little engine to ride. Like I say, I can't find that reputed vibration which would make it a problem at motorway cruising speeds, but like I say, it's a nice little bike. And it's a bike that I would have in the garage for short local rides, shall we say. I can handle that with my back problems. Yeah, it's a nice bike. I quite like it. Yeah. So I'll get me a cup of coffee and we'll go a bit further. Well, that's it. Coffee drunk. Walk around carried out. Time to get on the road. Yes, I suppose it's a boring old road is the A6, but this section of it travels alongside the River Derwent. Through the Derwent Valley up from Ambergate, but it's only a short section. Well, there's a little Guerrilla. I'm really coming to like the little bike, to be honest. After all that Nick had said about it being really too small and he felt like his knees were out in the wind, well, they are, I suppose, with someone as tall as us. Like I say, 34-inch inside leg, it's going to cause a problem, I suppose, but it depends what you want to use the bike for. I don't think I could use this for long distance stuff. I would need higher bars, all sorts of changes to it, but it'd be nice to have one in the garage, you know, in the man cave, just to get out and to do little runs around the lanes. It's where it really comes into its own. I'm going to turn off the A6 in a matter of yards and onto the sort of roads that I'm imagining that this bike is going to really come into its own. Going to turn off onto the B5035. Oh, great minds think alike with the VW Golf. But it certainly dispatches the traffic quite easily. This is a really, really good bike. It's a fun bike. It really is a fun bike. Oh yes, handles beautifully. It handles absolutely beautifully. We're on dry roads now, and it's not like when I was out with the Goldie and the Bear. A little bit of gravel here and there though, but nothing too serious. As Tame would say, it's a bit of a naughty bike, really. It just goes to show that you really shouldn't judge a bike by somebody else's findings. It's a nice torquey engine. Pulls from low down. And it pulls really well. I have to say that I'm really enjoying this ride on this little Guerrilla. Take a run down to Wirksworth. Really handles beautifully. It's turning out to be a beautiful day. It was a little bit cold this morning, I must admit, but that's warming up a bit. And what does it sound like? It sounds okay, it sounds nice. Into the middle of Wirksworth. It's as near as it comes to town work, really, is this? And I should imagine it deals with town work really, really well. It's the benefits of being on a smaller bike, I suppose, really. There is one aspect to this bike that would make it a local bike for me, and that's the fact that it's got an 11-litre tank. That's only, yes, what is it, 2.5 gallons. Which hardly makes it a distance bike, if you see where I'm coming from. Back onto the back lanes again, up through Bowl Hill. Nice views back down the valley we came up, over to the right. It's a nice run out across here, across the level. Keeping to the national limit, of course. And this brings us back out onto the road we came up on, the B5135. It's a lovely stretch of road, is this. Give it a nice run through the twisties. Really does feel well planted. A little bit bumpy on the roads, but this thing takes it all in its stride. Like I said, the suspension is firm, but definitely compliant. Holds its line. There's no following traffic, so I'll just give the brakes a quick try out. Oof. Brakes are really good. Right, we got rid of the following traffic, so we're in top gear. I'm letting the revs drop. Now, I was criticised for doing this with the 450 Himalayan. I just wanted to see where it'll pick up from in terms of revs. 2000 is too low. It'll pick up cleanly from 2,500 revs, which is good enough. It's well good enough, that is. It is quite a torquey little motor. Back down to the A6 and into the sun. I think ideally I would change down at 3,000 revs. Just to keep the little motor spinning smoothly. Smalley Cross are doing these at this particular colour scheme is, I think it's £5,050 on the road. I think that's marvellous, to be honest. For the bike that it is, it's an absolute bargain. We're back on this 610. It's an uninteresting road as this, so again I'll bring you back when we get to the A38. And we're back. That 610, that A610 it's a boring road, and it's full of wagons, and it's just not that interesting at all. But we're coming back onto the A38 now for a quick blast, I suppose you could say. Down the 38, down the dual carriageway, and back in. I don't think I've mentioned up to now this little circular TFT screen. First time I came across it was on the on the 450 Himalayan when I took it out, and do you know, it's grown on me. I really quite like it. But just going to get down the 38 now. Dispatch wanted to do a little bit. Yeah, we're okay. Up into top gear and up to the legal limit straight away. And I'm sitting at 70, and I can't. There's a little bit of vibration, tiny bit of vibration through the foot pegs, but nothing uncomfortable, and there's certainly nothing that's going to induce numbness of the fingers through the bars. I can tell there's an engine there. Go on, mate, out you go. I can tell there's an engine there, and that's what I like to feel with the bike. It picks up with a roll on. It picks up really, really well. So we're doing about 5,500 revs at 70 miles an hour. We'll see how that compares with the Himalayan when I take that out. Here we are. Here's our exit. Yes, easily capable of motorway speeds. Now I'm going to put some petrol in for the lads. They're good enough to let me keep taking these bikes out, so I'm going to do the decent thing and put a drop of fuel in. So bear with. Fueled up. And let's take it back home. Oh, it's a nice bike to ride, it really is. Run back past the golf course. It's going to be a real shame to hand this back. I have to be honest. Well, that was really, really enjoyable. It's quelled some serious doubts I had over the Guerrilla. Anyway, that was a particularly enjoyable test ride, so let's go and take the keys back, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.